everybody, welcome to Wissen, where we teach you how to shine with pride. In today's episode, we're going to teach you how to clean your car. And first thing we need to go over to clean your car are obviously all the tools you're going to need. Some of these are suggested, some of them are required. So let's kind of go over the required tools first, and then we'll move on to the suggested. So the first required is obviously your wash bucket. Wash bucket is very important because it holds your water, it holds your soap, and it holds your wash pad. The next thing we want to talk about are the wash pads themselves. We have kind of two different ones here. So this is a nice wash pad, and what it has is little microfiber pills on here, and this absorbs water really well. It's super soft. It also absorbs the soap that you're using. So this allows all these little wash mop pieces here get right into the nooks and crannies and really kind of clean your car. So the next thing is, this is a scrub pad. So this pad has a netting going around a sponge. And what this does, it provides the ability to kind of scrub off those harder stuck areas. So for instance, bug guts and road tar and things like that. It's a great tool to have on hand, and I would definitely say this is a required tool. So the next thing I want to talk about is car wash soap. Number one rule, do not use dish soap. Dish soap is actually the worst thing you can use for your car. It actually has properties that strips off your protectant coatings like waxes or sealants and things like that. So it actually does the complete opposite of what you actually want it to do. So I have a couple different here. Pretty much any car wash soap that's specifically made for the car will do for this process. So some have gloss enhancers and some have a wax property. So as you're washing your car, it's also waxing your car at the same time. For this vehicle, we're actually going to use this soap here because this is made specifically for a ceramic coated car. And a ceramic coating is simply a protective layer that allows things to slip right off of it. So if you get tree sap or anything like that on there, it'll literally come right off. But it does require a specific type of car wash soap. So the next thing I want to talk about are for the wheels. These are different brushes that we have for cleaning the wheels. We have a camel hair brush. It's a nice real stiff bristled brush. Allows me to get into the nooks and crannies and get in between the lug nuts and the rims and really kind of clean out all the brake dust and debris that sits up in there. The next one we have, this is a wheel woolly. This is wool wrapped around a dowel rod, and this does a really good job of holding in the water and holding in the soap, but it allows you to get inside the barrel of the rim and really kind of clean the whole rim instead of just the face of the rim. So again, this is something else I would definitely say is a requirement. The other thing we want to talk about, we have different towels for drying the vehicle. So these are both microfiber towels, and they're real soft. They're gentle to the paint, so as you're drying your car, you're not going to scratch your clear coat, but they also absorb really well. This is specifically made for the drying process. This smaller blue one, this is made for detailing, and this is it's not as good for drying, but it's great for using detail sprays to give that final shine to your car. So there are differences in your towels, so you want to make sure you're looking at, is it made for detailing or is it made for drying? So pay attention to that when you are selecting your towels. We have a couple optional items, but they do really kind of make that cleaning process a little bit better if you do purchase them. Number one thing, this is called a grit guard. The grit guard simply goes down inside your wash bucket, put it down the bottom, lock it into place, and this will hold all the dirt away from your actual washing pad. So the dirt will fall down below, your wash pad will sit on top. So this is a great accessory to keep that dirt away from your wash pad. Next thing I want to talk about is the foam cannon. This is the foam cannon, and what this does, this connects to a pressure washer. So yes, you are going to need a pressure washer for this to use this. What this does is you fill it up with some soap, fill the rest of it with water, and as you spray it with the pressure washer, it blows out a real thick cloud of foam, and it foams over the whole car and creates a real nice thick surface, but it also helps to wash away kind of that first layer of dirt and grime. So this is a great product to have, but you do need a pressure washer, which brings me to the pressure washer. So this is my pressure washer. What this does is this creates a real strong stream of water that really helps to kind of blast away all of that dirt and grime that might be up in the wheel wells, on the paint, stuff like that. This also, again, for the foam cannon, we have to use a pressure washer. I like using this more than the hose just because it does give me that extra pressure to really blow off all the dirt from the rims, the wheel wells, and things like that. So I have two different nozzles for this. I have my little shorty nozzle. Again, it's just a short nozzle here. Allows my hand to be really close to where the water is coming out. Then I have my longer nozzle. You know, just the longer wand, if I'm working on a car that's kind of high up, allows me to get a little bit higher up there. So I usually use the shorter handle for smaller cars, and then I'll use the long handle for SUVs and taller cars and things. Now with pressure washers, you also have nozzles. So each nozzle, so for instance, this is a 15-degree nozzle. This is going to give you a 15-degree spray. This is going to be a much stronger spray, so I don't usually use this on the cars. Instead, I normally use my 40-degree nozzle. So it still gives you a nice strong spray, but it's not as harsh to the paint itself. You know, we want a strong spray, but we don't want it to be too hard. So again, this one's a 40-degree. That's the one I usually end up using most of the time. The last item I want to talk about is for drying. And people think I'm crazy for this, but trust me, many people use them. This is a leaf blower used for drying your car. After you get done washing everything, you're going to have lots of big bubbles of water. This will help to really spray that off. So I do use a leaf blower on my cars in order to get the mass of the water off. So when I come back in with my drying towel, I only have a little bit to actually clean off. So that's all the equipment between the required and the suggested. So now what I want to do is we're going to start filling up the bucket, prepping that. I'm going to set up the pressure washer, get that ready, and then we'll get started. So now we're going to set up our wash bucket. And step one, we're going to take my grit guard, and I'm going to take that, place it right at the bottom. I do want to use this grit guard just to keep all the dirt away from my actual wash pad. So just a nice little extra safety there. So I'm going to use this type of soap, and this soap is actually made for ceramic coated specific cars. So I'm going to just kind of squirt in a few little squirts here. It's about an ounce or so. And I'm going to take my hose, and I'm going to just start filling up the bucket. I'm going to keep my nozzle down low so I'm not making too many bubbles. I do want to get a nice lather, but I don't want too much. So just kind of fill that up nice and quick. I'm not using full pressure. Again, I don't want to overload it with bubbles. I do need to get some water in there. Okay, so that should be about good. Take that out. I'm going to take my two sponges I'll be using today, kind of drop those in, squeeze those a little bit. Take my wash pad here. Again, drop that in, squeeze it a little bit, making a mess, but that's okay. Okay, so after filling up the bucket, we're going to now prepare my foam cannon. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my actual container. I'm going to give this a couple squirts in there. It's about an ounce. Okay, you can see we have the bottom, to about right there. Then I'm going to take my hose, and I'm going to try to fill this up. And we're going to create some bubbles, that's okay. But we want to make sure we're getting a good amount of water in there. We want to fill it the rest of the way up with water. Okay, so we're up to about here with water, so that's good. I'm going to take my top here, place that hose down inside, and we're going to tighten that on. So now my foam cannon is prepared. So off screen, I set up the rest of the pressure washer, and what I want to do now is I'm going to take my 40-degree tip, and I'm going to insert that right into the quick release. I want to make sure that's fully locked in there. Sometimes I'll just give it a quick little squeeze, make sure it doesn't pop out. It's happened to me before, so don't let it happen to you. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a pre-rinse, or a pre-wash. And what I want to do is get all of kind of the dirt from the top, all the heavy debris. I want to get all of that off. So I'm going to start from the top. I'm going to work my way down. And I want to make sure, getting all the dirt out of the wheel wells, the rims, and things like that. So we're going to start right at the top and work our way down. As I'm washing through this, I'm making sure to go right into the wheel wells, make sure I'm getting all the grit out of the wheel wells, and making sure, you know, any heavy debris I see, I'm spending a little more time with the nozzle on there. Again, the pressure washer just creates a nice pressure of water that really blows a lot of that off. And just like that, the pre-rinse process is done. Again, this helps to get rid of all the heavy debris as well as soften up the debris that's still left on there. So things like bug guts and tar and stuff. So it'll make the wash process a little bit easier. So after the pre-wash is complete, we're going to hook up the foam cannon to the pressure washer. And again, quick release, lock that on, make sure it's on there nice and tight. The foam cannon actually has a couple different adjustments. We can adjust the pressure of the water, how much water is actually entering here, as opposed to how much is being shot through. So in this case, I like to make it as foamy as possible, so I turn that water way down. The other thing is we can also adjust how wide that stream is. So by adjusting this back and forth, it makes it go from wide to thin. Now, unfortunately, you know, you have to kind of start shooting with it and make the adjustments on the fly. But so this is going to create a real thick lather of soap that we're going to go around the whole car and cover the whole thing. So after we're done with that, we're going to let that soak on there for a little bit. Again, this is going to create a real thick lather of soap, so it'll help to lubricate the surface, but it also starts, as the soap bubbles start to run down the car, so does the dirt. So I'm going to take the remainder of this, and I'm just going to pour it right into my wash bucket. Let's move this to the side. I'm going to take my 40-degree nozzle back, connect that to my pressure washer. Again, I'm going to do a test pull just to make sure it's nice and tight. We're good. Okay, now that we have the car soaking in lots of suds, what we're going to do, we're going to let that kind of sit for a little bit, and then we're going to start washing from the top down. Again, most of your dirt and grime is going to be down at the bottom of the car. So we want to make sure we're not pushing any of that dirt from the bottom up. So we're going to start with the hood and work our way down. So the suds have had some time to kind of soak in there. So now I'm going to start washing. So I'm going to take my wash pad, kind of wring that out just a little bit. And we're going to wash the top, moving on down. Don't be afraid to get dirty or wet. It will happen. just like that, the whole car is completely cleaned. So after this, now we're going to immediately rinse the car off. Okay, now that we're done with the washing part, let's move on to rinsing. Same thing as before, we're going to rinse from the top down and moving all those suds down over the body of the car. I'm not going to touch the rims just yet because I still have to clean those, but I do want to get the soap off the main part of the car before it dries on there. So now that the car is fully rinsed off, we're going to move on to cleaning the wheels. I did leave the soap on the wheels because I am going to use that for that cleaning process. So next thing is we're going to set up to start cleaning the wheels. So the next step of this is cleaning the wheels. I'm going to use my scrubbing pad here to kind of just get into all the little nooks and crannies of my wheel face. I'm going to clean that first. And rims have a lot of brake dust and dirt that collects on them, so they really do get filthy. This pad will just give a little bit more scrubbing power to help loosen up that dirt, help kind of wash it away. So again, I'm just kind of getting into each little nook and cranny here, really getting deep into the spokes. Some rims are a lot easier to clean than others. Some can be a real pain in the butt. Some of them, you know, they could be relatively simple to clean. This one's not too bad. This one falls somewhere in the middle there. So, okay, so the face is all clean now. So then I'm going to move with my camel hair brush. Again, this is that thick bristled brush that allows me to get into where the lug nuts are and really kind of get the dirt out of those areas. Just kind of push that in there. Swoop around a couple times. You could also clean other parts if you wanted. Anything that you think your scrubbing pad just didn't reach, you know, just kind of get in there real quick. But this is a great tool for getting into those little spots. So the next thing we want to do is we're going to use the wheel woolly. Again, the wheel woolly, it holds a lot of water, it holds a lot of soap and everything, and this allows me to kind of shove this into the rim and get to the actual inside of the rim to get all the dirt off of that. So just kind of going in through each spoke, moving it back and forth, just to really get that brake dust and road dirt off of there. Especially after a winter, there's gonna be a lot of rock salt and stuff like that. So you really want to work on getting that out. Kind of moving behind each spoke to really get the dirt out from behind there. There we go. So that's now, we've washed the whole thing. Now we're going to rinse that off. Now that we've cleaned everything, we want to make sure we get all the dirt off there. There we go. So now we have a nice clean rim. And what we're going to do, we'll repeat that process on all four and get them all sparkling clean. Now that we're done cleaning the wheels and washing the car and rinsing everything off, we're going to go into the drying process. And the first step to that is a thing called water sheeting. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to take the hose and run the hose over the entire top of the car to get rid of all these little spots of water. And they'll actually kind of get pushed off and only larger spots will remain after we're all done. So let's get started with that. So as you can see, we have the nozzle off the hose and we're just letting the water run out. I'm going to take this and just start right at the top and work our way down. you'll see the little spots of water just falling right off, leaving us with just larger spots to kind of clean up afterward. Spot one last time here. And just like that, the large spots of water is all gone. I'm going to shut this hose off and we'll get on to the next step. So now I'm done with the water sheeting process and I have it down to just kind of some smaller spots. And next I'm going to use is the leaf blower. And I'm going to get all of the spots off, so when I actually use my towel to dry everything, I'm only going to have a little bit left to get off. So here we go. So now the pre-drying with the leaf blower is done. Now I'm going to move on to this nice microfiber towel to get the rest of the water off of the surface. I'm going to start from the top, work my way down. And again, I'm not going to apply any pressure. I just want to drag this across nice and softly just to get that water off of there. Once you're done drying the exterior, don't forget to open up the car doors and dry out the door jambs as well. A lot of water will sit down in there and a lot of dust and dirt also collect. So we just want to clean that up as well. Once you finish drying those door jambs, your car cleaning process is complete. And thanks to Wissen, you've learned how to shine with pride.